Hello? Okay. What would it take for you to sleep with a man? A friend of mine asked me and he winked at me because he was very much hitting on me that night. And I pondered. I stopped for a while and then I looked at him. I looked him to the eyes and I said, I would have to love him. The thing is that I never understood very much this concepts and tradition, how man's supposed to be and how woman's supposed to be and how wife's supposed to be and how husband's supposed to be. Probably because I never very much fit into these stereotypes. And from the very childhood I felt very alienated everywhere I went. I didn't belong. I didn't fit what was expected from me. That might be one of the reasons why, when I was growing older, I started to be very busy with this question, what does it mean to be a man? I was already familiar with the gender studies, which were very busy with the female part of the topic, and I also discovered that there is something like gender studies focus on the men's. So I a little bit dig into that topic, and I was thinking, okay, this is actually super interesting. And I met a friend who was very busy with the idea, let's make a project for women, how to really embrace their feminism. I was thinking, this is super cool. I want to do the same for guys. Let's make a project about the guys to really understand what does it mean to be a man. I had no clue, by the way, what does it mean to be a man. I was not knowing something never stopped me from actually doing it and figuring on the way. And I was very much eager on this idea. In that time I had already been doing my volunteering service here in Olevechta. And in that time I had met a very special person. It was a person who was labeled as a transgender man inside of the female body. And the first night when he came here, we just were chit-chatting and I was very excited about this idea of masculinity project. And I shared it with him. And he got furious. Really furious. We were arguing for another 15-30 minutes. But we were slowly going to understanding. Because he opened to me completely new world. World which I didn't understand, a world which I didn't know how to grasp, but world which I wanted to get to know. And he rephrased whatever idea I had from masculinity and femininity to project about identity. To be who you are, to be who I am. Well, this project never really happened, at least not yet. But some other fascinating things happened in my life. I spent a lot of time with this specific person, and it was all the time very warm, very complicated, and very friendly. And something was happening there, something to what I didn't understand. But I very much remember that night when we went to drink to the city, and we were just talking and sharing. And then suddenly I look him to the eyes and say, Jules, I love you. With no sexuality inside, with no desire, but I very purely love you. And he looked back at me and said, hey, I love you too. And that magical evening continued, because we traveled back to the foresty area where we used to live in that time. And we grabbed another beer and we were sitting under the blue sky. As we were sitting next to each other, drinking beer, at a certain point I look at him and I kissed him. It was very strange and beautiful for me and very natural. And once again there was nothing sexual in it. For me, that moment, it was one of the moments when I felt pure love for the person who is in front of me, and I was super grateful just for sharing this special moment with him. You know, very often I wonder what makes people hate each other so much. Why in the world we keep arguing and we keep hurting each other. And I think it's because each one of us are suckers on pain. Each one of us went through shit in life which make us put on an armor. And this armor is equipped with thorns. And we are throwing these thorns on others all the time and we don't feel safe. I am doing it as well. And I'm learning day by day to drop it, and I'm growing to whatever I want to be, and I keep failing, and I'm growing again, and I keep failing again. But it's my wish to be able to live without this armor. So I remember moment when I was in a deep pain. I'm not even sure why it was anymore, but I remember that the pain was very clean, very clear, very fiery. I was afraid not to become this bitch hidden behind the armor. And only thing which I knew is that I somehow need to stay with it. I didn't know how, I just knew that I somehow need to stay with it. And at that time I wrote this poem and I sent it to Jules. And it was never meant to be shown to anybody, but somehow today it clicked and I think it's fitting here, so I would like to read this poem to you. Taking down the armor. And there was pain, so white and clean, forged into nails for broken armor, to put it back together with metal stripes and dots of hammer. Full metal jacket, unbreakable shell. I didn't want it. So I took the plier and ripped out the nails. I took the hammer and cut them straight into my heart. And as the armor fell apart, I ended up on my knees and tried and tried and tried, till the pain turned red, till it went ardent, till it evaporated water, leaving only traces of salt to lick with my swollen tongue. And I waited until the pain went blue, so numbing and cold I could touch myself and feel nothing. Finally the nails dropped out to drown in a pool of blood, left me naked with only one new scar. I smiled. I got up and walked away.